Just for Mag, it's time to play some Street Fighter. Yeah, right. You had a shite night? What happened? I did not realize how loud the music was, sorry. Dude, I was barely able to get up. Legit, like I was barely able to fucking drag myself out of the bed to get on. But I'll tell you what, it feels good to be on. Yeah, these past couple days have been pretty interesting, but you know, we're still here. And I have coffee, so what do I really have to complain about? I've been talking to Dr. Red a lot in DMs here lately. Just about, you know, just about problems that we have been seeing as streamers, problems that we've had as streamers over the years. And it's actually been really, really cathartic to talk to Dr. Red about all this shit. So, shout outs to you, Dr. Red. You're a great conversation, dude. You are a great conversation every time. Did you type while you had such a shite night, Mag? I thought you were gonna say what was up. Because if you type a really long message, it won't appear there. There's like a character limit on Twitch. I know this has happened in the past, but if you type like a really long message, it won't actually show up in the thread. This playlist, you know what though? This playlist has done some heavy lifting in terms of just every single time I sit down, getting like conjuring the energy to get streams out of the way. Like honestly, you know, there are some days, like I've said before, there's some days where of course you turn the stream on, but then you're like, oh shit, what do I really want to do today? But every single time I hear this playlist, it's like, yeah, we're here. So that's why it's gonna really suck once I start getting copyright DMCA claims and all that other bullshit, because I'm gonna change it once and for all. Dude, so check this out. So Shure has released a new mic. It's called the SM7DB, and it actually has like this weird glossy Shure logo. I drove all the way across town to a Walgreens I don't go to. Oh shit, where's the... Why did the chat message not appear? That's weird. Drove all the way across town to a Walgreens I don't go to on a part of town I don't go to, but due to a national shortage of my medicine, it was the only place I could find that could get it. I get off work, bring my ass over in the cold and wet weather, get my drugs, and when I go to leave, I see my car is a flat. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's the worst. Do you have AAA? Were you able to call AAA? Or just some kind of roadside assistance? That is the fucking worst, though. Having a flat out of nowhere. Of course I don't. Yeah, I've only had to use AAA like once, and it was when a car battery randomly died. And it did definitely come in handy then, but outside of that, yeah, I haven't really had the need. I'm gonna have to fix my camera frame again, dude. That's not really a big thing here. Well, you know, the other thing is, like, I think they're actually a lot more limited than people think. They think that just because they pay, like, what is it, $100 a year for AAA, that anything that goes down, you're covered. But every single thing that I've ever had done for them actually cost me a decent amount as well. I had people offer to come pick me up, but no one that could fix the tire. Did you just have to leave your car there then? For now? Oh, okay. Shout outs to family. Let's go. My family has bailed me out on more than one occasion. Nah, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we need help, and it is a-okay to ask for help. But yeah, that's how I was raised in my family too. It's like, it's almost like a pride thing in my family that, like, nobody wants to ask for help ever. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of gotten over that. But yeah, when I was younger, it was like a pride thing. Like, I would just kind of deal with shit and never ask for help because it's just kind of the way my family has always been. But yeah, it's not a big deal. Shit happens. And, you know, just be thankful that you had family that was willing to help you out. Because some people, they alienate their family to the point that they won't help them out. And you guys know who I'm talking about. What's up, Immortal Flames? Long time no see, but welcome on in. You've been following me for almost 10 years, dude. People shouldn't be afraid to ask for help, but a lot of people seem to be far too afraid to do it when a problem could have been solved by just communicating. Yeah. I don't think it's a pride thing. I think some people are also raised to think that, like, asking for help is a sign of weakness or something, which I definitely don't agree with. Like you said, I mean, shit happens. Just communicate. You know, you never know who might be willing to help. My dad could not find a leak, so assume I get my car home this weekend, I'll drive home and he'll try to find and patch the slow leak. This tire isn't even old, less than a year. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fucking really low quality tire brands out there. Like, we had to replace our front two tires, and they used to be Michelin tires, and we had to replace them with some, like, fucking random no-name brand because they were cheaper. So God only knows how long those are gonna last. I would assume not very long. And there we will be. So they allegedly have, like, a warranty on them from the place that we installed them with, but who even knows? The most hilarious thing is when they sell you a product and a warranty with that product for usually more than just the cost of the product itself. And then when some shit goes down and you actually need to take advantage of the warranty, when you go back, they're like, oh, it doesn't cover against that, actually. Or my favorite that has ever happened to me is I bought, so way back in the day, I used to frequent GameStop. And I bought it was a used PS Vita in white, okay? And when I bought it, there was some kind of protection. I forget exactly what it was called. Basically, what they told me was I had a year. And if the device died for any reason that wasn't like water damage or, obviously a fault of my own, I could take it back and they would swap it out with whatever model they had available. So 7-8 months later, it died and I charged it totally normally. I used only first party everything. All my shit was totally fine. And then when I go, they're like, oh, yeah, that warranty expired. I'm like, what? You guys said I was good for a year. And the lady that was at the desk was like, what? I don't know if anybody here would have said a year. Yeah, we've never had a year. And then like she was saying that, the assistant manager was saying it. And I'm not like a person that gets upset at retail workers because I did it for 4.5 years, but I was like, I legit did ask, like, can I speak to the manager? Because I know that I was told this. And the dude comes out, like, looks at the Vita, and he just like starts scratching his head and he goes, yeah, I don't know, man. Like the warranty may have been different when they sold it to you, but yeah, I don't remember ever hearing of a year warranty. I'm like, what? So they can just tell me one thing when they sell it to me, and then when I actually need to use it, they just tell me something totally different. Like, what the fuck, dude? Imagine if I would have gotten them to like give me some kind of certificate or piece of paper that said that, and then I could have presented it. Well, imagine, I mean, what would they have said? Like, did they think I just fabricated it? But yeah, that was why I stopped going to GameStop, and I don't ever see myself going back. Because they just seem to frequently pull bullshit like that. Yeah, it's just common nature for GameStop to do stuff like that, it seems. Taylor got her tires insured when she got her new car a few years ago. Yeah. Yeah, and I guarantee that if something were to happen to those tires and she needed to take advantage of the warranty, they would find some excuse to weasel their way out of it. Because that's how these companies typically work. And that is what kills me, the manufacturer defect thing. So GameStop's completely shut down where I live. They used to have 2 shops here, but the physical game stores just aren't profitable anymore. Yeah, I've heard that GameStop is like on its last legs. And they had a fucking NFT marketplace, by the way, that they opened in February of 2022. All I hear lately is about GameStops that can't get their shelf necessities, GameStops that can't get their supplies that they need. Like, that's all I'm hearing about here lately, is GameStops that can't get the fucking basic stuff in to run their stores. So, I mean, you could ask me a million times over, and I will say that does not sound like a successful company to me. That sounds like a company that is trying to get out of the market and give its board of directors golden parachutes as like a last ditch move in the industry. And what I mean by golden parachutes is basically with a company like GameStop that very clearly does not care about their actual, brick and mortar locations. What they do is they set it up to where no matter what happens, the executives at the top are taken care of. And that's where that concept of the golden parachute comes in. It's like, even if the company goes under, each person who's that high up in the company gets millions and millions of dollars. And then they basically just liquidate the rest of the company. So, everybody at the absolute top is totally fine, taken care of, but the actual people running their stores, fucked, lose all their jobs. The actual people doing like any semblance of hard work, absolutely fucked. And that seems to be the way that most of them operate. I mean, that's what happened with like Kmart and Circuit City and all the retail chains that have closed over the past like 20 years. That's how they do it. Not surprising. Shit management, even when they were doing well, that is biting them in the ass now. Yep, 100%. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a very common practice. Now, something interesting, when I worked at Walmart way back in the day, we're talking like 2014 to 2017 is the time range. It seemed like they almost were a little bit self-aware as a company that they had too many managers at different stores. I was in a small, my hometown is very, very small. And we had a store that had like 4 co-managers, each one of them making 70 to 80K a year, like salaried. And I used to always think to myself, like, why do they need this many fucking people to run a Walmart? Like, this is ridiculous, dude. Well, apparently, corporate agreed, and it just was like on a random day, they just sent a bunch of people. They sent a bunch of people from corporate and fired 3 of the 4. They only kept 1. So after that happened, like all the salaried managers were constantly just paranoid about, oh my God, please make sure this is done. Please make sure this is done because this is my department. You know, like they were so worried that corporate was just going to come in and fire them out of nowhere. Isn't that a fucking positive work environment to be in? And GameStop apparently operates the exact same way. You know, people have said on many different YouTube videos on many different occasions that GameStop purposefully threatens people's jobs all the time to try to get them to do more work. And especially with younger people, they take advantage of, because, you know, younger people that come into the industry, they have a lot more to prove. And they want to prove like their loyalty to a particular store because they want to move up. They're driven. So GameStop is very, very, very driven on that, you know, just drilling that into their heads that, oh, well, if you want a promotion, you're going to have to do this, that, and the other degrading fucking thing. You know, stand out on a street corner with a big arrow sign pointing to your store, or clean the bathrooms constantly, or this, that, and the other, you know. Exactly. No, that's 100%. And there's even been like leaked conference calls where they specifically say to give the shittiest jobs to the youngest people to sort of vet them and see who's willing to move up in this company. You know, it's crazy, man. I would say it's crazy, but anybody that's been around scummy retail companies wouldn't think it's that crazy. It's actually pretty standard, you know. Fairly standard. And like I said, I have had a friend who used to be a GameStop manager, and he told me some crazy stories about that time. But ultimately what it came down to was just a lot of the same shit. Like, oh, you know, a so-and-so called in, so you're just basically going to have to live at the store and have no free time. And people are just so used to it that they stop questioning it, even if it's very immoral. Yeah. Yeah, there's he was even telling me, like, basically all throughout 2017 and 2018, they went on this quest of just getting rid of tenured managers. And the way that they did it was very scummy, of course, but they just lied and said that you committed time card fraud. And they basically had both bases covered. So what happened was the federal government around that time introduced a new law that if someone was making over $47,000 a year, you had to offer them some kind of insurance. And since GameStop didn't want to do that, what they did was they took all their salaried managers and made them hourly and paid them significantly less so that they wouldn't hit that threshold. So a lot of store managers were forced to work overtime if they even wanted to make what they were originally making salaried. So they started doing that. And they were supposed to typically be in at 10 when the store opens, but sometimes they would show up at 8. And then they would spend the first hour like cleaning the store, making sure everything is organized. Then they'd go to the back and they'd sit at the desk and they'd like make a plan, make a schedule. And so here's what they did. If you were coming in at 8, they would come in and say, you committed time card fraud because you're not supposed to come in at 8. If you were ready with the reasoning of, I've talked to my manager and they said it's okay because I need to do that to make what I used to make on salary, then they would flip it and say, well, you can't sit at the desk because that constitutes a break and you need to be clocked out for that. Right? So if you had the first reasoning lined up, that's what they would say was time card fraud. If you had the correct reasoning lined up for that, they would just move the goalpost and say, well, actually, you're still doing this, so you're still committing time card fraud. So it didn't matter what your excuse was. And if you were to ask, which is what my friend told me, if you were to ask an area or district manager, they would say no problems at all with sitting at the desk. And there never had been a problem with it. Like, these people have been doing it for 6, 7, 8 years. It just all of a sudden became the scapegoat that they would use to fire people. It's like, yeah, of course, I am the manager. I have to sit at my desk. I have to make schedules. I have a computer in there specifically for doing such tasks. Why would sitting at the desk constitute a break when I'm doing administrative work for the store? I'm doing schedules. I'm setting up plans for the day. I'm placing orders for like shelving units and different things. Like, you have to be at your desk as a manager. And they just decided to use that as a catch-all to say, oh, time card fraud. And the reason why they called it time card fraud is because that guaranteed that they didn't have to pay out unemployment. Because time card fraud puts all the responsibility on the employee and says that they were manipulating a system in some way, shape, or form. So it ensures that they don't have to pay unemployment if you go to file for that. There was even a lawsuit a few years back where all this guy wanted to know There was a lawsuit a few years back. Literally all this guy wanted to know was, why was I fired? And he literally did not do anything, and they could not give him a reason. So he called GameStop HR and said, why was I fired? And they're like, you know, they passed him around to all these different managers, this, that, and the other. And then they came back and said, time card fraud. And he was like, okay, I need proof, because I was never given any proof. I was never spoken to about this. I was just fired on the spot. When did I commit time card fraud? When did this happen? And then they started to get aggressive with him, and they were like, well, we don't have to give you a reason. We internally investigated and found it to be the case. So that's all that we need to tell you. So then he lawyered up, as he's like, fuck this. I've worked for this company for like 8-9 years. I'm not just going to take this shit because I know I didn't commit time card fraud. And they actually ended up offering him a settlement, which is just, you know, fucking clearly plain as day. The company admitting, we made this shit up. Why? I mean, why would they offer a settlement? As a company, you only offer a settlement if you just don't want to deal with it, which could have been possible, or you don't have any evidence that the dude committed time card fraud. It's only one of those two options. And apparently, from what I remember reading, he did not take the settlement. He was like, no, I'm gonna pursue damages because they committed whatever that's called. Oh, wrongful termination. Yeah, wrongful termination suit is what it was. Let's see. I think it's Broussard versus GameStop. Oh, okay, no, never mind. This is a customer thing. But either way, yeah, they are just a very, very scummy company. So honestly, I definitely feel for the people who may potentially lose their jobs in the wake of the company shutting down. But rest assured, the people at the top won't be struggling. They will be given millions and millions of dollars. They'll be given massive severance packages, and they most likely will never have to work again, so they'll be covered. Either way, I think that it would be for the best if that company does go away forever, because they are just the epitome of scumbag, old school, hard-headed, fucking stubborn retail operation. People who should be shot in the foot almost never get to pay for their behavior. Yeah, and I have a story about that at Walmart too. Like, it seemed like, okay, this is not a hard and fast rule. This is not a universal thing, but it seemed like in retail, they always hired people into management that just would power trip. I mean, legitimately, they would fucking power trip. And the perfect example of this was I, at one time, was in a position called site to store department manager. And we had a process called site to store for a while, which is basically you go on the website, you see that something may not be available for shipping, but it's actually in the store. So you could submit an order for what was called PUT, or pick up today. So then I would get a notification on like a wireless, it was called like a TC something. I would get a notification on a wireless device that, hey, a customer submitted an order for this item. Here's where it's located, you know, go scan the barcode and put it in a place, whatever. I would go do that. And when I had no orders coming in and no customers here to pick things up, I would have to just do what's called zoning, which is basically you just grab stuff in a particular department, organize it, put it where it's supposed to be, bring it to the front, you know, that type of shit. So one day we had a district manager visiting, like very, very high up guy. And I was in toys because toys was next to that pickup area. And I wasn't even a department manager or anything. And I swear that the store manager didn't even really know who I was. Like, we had never spoken before. And he's walking by with the district manager. And I just kind of give him a, like, you know, morning, that. And they're all just like morning, and they just keep on walking. And then, you know, I guess they kind of split. And the store manager came back, walks up to me, grabs my shirt, and like rips me toward him. And he goes, you need to clean, and he's like pointing around. He's like, you need to clean this shit up because I fired people for less than this. And then he like pushes me back to where I was. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? This isn't even my department. You don't even know who the fuck I am. Just major weird fucking like power trip bullshit. And that was kind of when I knew, like, yeah, I'm not going to put up with this shit anymore. This is stupid. Seems like a nice guy. Well, apparently he had a military background, but that obviously that doesn't excuse it. But that's, you know, I'm sure somebody would try to use that as an excuse, but it wasn't an excuse. You're just being a piece of shit. But yeah, you know, honestly, not all my time in retail was bad. And there was a lot that I did enjoy, especially on nights. You know, night shift in retail was actually fairly enjoyable, I'm not gonna lie. Oh yeah, and that's really, really common in retail is people power trip a lot. There's a lot of power tripping that happens, and there's a lot of people who think that they're being hard and they're being a good manager. Like, just as an example, there was a position that would open up on nights that everybody wanted called support manager. And basically you were like the salaried manager's lackey, for lack of a better term. Like, you would just do all the heavy lifting and the shit that the assistant manager didn't want to deal with on that particular night. And you were paid maybe $2 higher than a standard overnight stalker to do that. And people would do the most conniving shit. Like, they would stand at the end of an aisle and whip out their phone to record you if they saw you checking the time on your phone. And then they would run to management and say, this person can't be a manager because they're on their phone all the time. You know what I mean? Like, just weird. Like, they would legit spy on you to try to get a leg up over you. Over $2 an hour. And inevitably, they would always make the worst decisions. And every single time they would hire somebody into that position, we would lose like very good employees because they realized like, okay, this person should not have got that job. Like, they did not deserve that. And then we would just end up losing a bunch of good people every time. That is kindergarten shit for real. Yeah. And nepotism was massive. Nepotism was absolutely huge in in retail, no question about it. Like, I remember this guy who was stocking the meat wall, which is legit like Oscar Mayer, fucking, what's the other, Hillshire Farm, you know, just like all those sandwich meat companies and like hot dogs and sausage, breakfast sausage, whatever. He did that for maybe a month. And then out of nowhere, he was just given a $75,000 a year co-manager job. And we're like, what the what a come up, dude. Holy shit. And it turns out that he played golf with the district manager, and the district manager was like, yeah, bro, I'll hook you up. Well, he hooked him up, that's for sure. Must be nice. You know, I've actually had, and I said this before, I've actually had people tell me that I should learn how to play golf because a lot of like business dealings happen on the golf course on the weekends. They're not wrong. I know for a fact that that does happen. It absolutely does. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, you know, this guy was apparently like a manager's son, and he was playing golf, and he would always come in wearing golf hats and stuff, and he was like really quiet, really unassuming. So we all thought that he probably knew that it was going to happen eventually and just didn't want to say too much because he didn't. But I mean, I wouldn't be upset if I were in his shoes. Of course, I'd be happy as fuck about it to just be handed a job like that. But that's when we knew that like this company was ripe with nepotism. The other funniest story about Walmart that I have is a guy who was a support manager, and then he was on a shift called Cap 1, which was like the morning shift. It was like 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. or something. He made a really throwaway joke toward us in like the back room area about unions. And if you guys don't know, Walmart and other big box stores, they don't have unions. So naturally, if you don't have one, the last thing in the world that you want to happen is for one to eventually surface, because that would mean the end of a lot of shady business practices. So he made this really throwaway joke. We didn't even think anybody heard it. Legitimately, I didn't even think anybody heard it. Well, apparently somebody did, because a couple days later, two guys in suits knocked on his door, his apartment door, and were like, yeah, we heard that you have some pretty strong opinions about unions, and we'd like to discuss that with you here today. They actually sent goons from corporate to his apartment. And he, from what he told me, now I don't know how true this is, from what he told me, they pretty much like pushed their way into his apartment. And he just kind of dealt with it for a couple, you know, for a few minutes. Yeah, no, they will do that. Like, and it happened. What was the company that makes fucking Pop-Tarts? Kellogg's. They did that. They will put an incredible amount of effort into union busting. Kellogg's did that a few years ago. They realized that people were boycotting their products because of shit worker conditions and different things. So what did they do? They wiped the Kellogg's logo off of their boxes in hopes that people wouldn't realize they made certain things. It's fucking scumbaggish, man. So scummy. Yeah. Yeah, and of course their reasoning was, they gave the stupidest reasoning. It's like, oh, we ran out of red ink. What? What a fucking stupid reasoning, dude. You did not run out of fucking red ink to put the Kellogg's logo. Get the fuck out of here with that stupid shit. Get out of here with that shit. You did no such thing. You scrubbed the logo off of your products because you didn't want people to know you make them. Period. End of story. Stop the bullshit. Stop the lies. I didn't hear about it right now. No, this was a thing that happened during the pandemic, like the height of the pandemic. But yeah, so anyway, to finish my story, yes, that was like the end of him working at Walmart. He was like, fuck this. This is like intimidation tactics that they're using. And they did. The other thing that kind of pissed me off about it was they would send managers all over the place just because they wanted to. Some of the best managers I ever worked for. What's up, Leon? How you doing, sir? Some of the best managers I ever worked for, this guy, we'll call him Aaron. But one of the best managers I ever worked for, he just comes in one day and he looked all upset. And I was like, dude, you good? Like, I thought he might have gotten fired. I was like, man, are you good? And he's like, yeah, they just told me that they're going to send me, you know, all the way across the state. He's like, I just moved here. I just got my apartment set up. I was so happy here. Like, I love the whole team. And I just came in today and the manager was like, yeah, you're going over there, by the way. Like, you're going 400 miles west just because they need a manager. Like, you just become a, like, plaything, you know? They just send you wherever they want to send you. Oh, I've seen that clip, actually, Mag. Yeah, I've seen that clip where he's like, you know, we realize that families are struggling right now. And if you look at the cost of a bowl of cereal, it's obvious why that would be a decision that a customer in need would go to. He's talking about fucking cereal for dinner. Yeah. No, it's not illegal because A, they have no union, and B, you're a salaried manager. So apparently it's like in their code book in some way, shape, or form that if you agree to be a salaried manager, you agree to go and fill positions at any stores that need it. Yeah, he was upset, man. Like, he was going around to people and he was like cry hugging them. He was upset. And when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, man. He gave me a hug too. He's like, man, it's been fun. He's like, I've absolutely loved our time working together. And he's like, I'm going to miss you guys. I'm like, Jesus, I can't imagine going through this every like 4 or 5 months. Anytime they just decide I need to be thrown somewhere else, you know? I don't think I could do a job that throws me around like that. No respect for people's personal lives is just so shitty for a company. Yeah. Yeah, it was fucked up because he was such a great guy. Like, he was genuinely a really good manager. We had great conversations, just, you know, talking about, and he was one of those people that you can tell, like, I people watch a lot. I'm not going to lie. When I was in retail, I people watched a ton. And you can always tell when someone's telling you what they think you want to hear and when they're being genuine with you. And he was always genuine with me. You know, when I would ask him about positions because I wanted to move up, he would tell me, well, most likely this person's going to get it, but here's what you could go for because I think you have a good chance of getting it. And I did end up getting that promotion because of him. I didn't stay in that position very long, but I got it. And he was just a great guy. Like, genuinely, I worked harder when he was our manager because I respected him, you know? And for them to just decide that he's no longer needed, it really pissed me off. Not being able to settle in somewhere would be so fucked up. How many times does a company have to drag and drop you before you become detached? Yeah. It's tough, man. And, you know, I get that the money's good and everything. Like, he was making like $60K a year. So for in terms of retail, that's really good money. But he was basically living at the store. Like, we would do a night shift, leave, come back and see him. Like, he would go home for like 4 or 5 hours and then he would come back to the store. Because he was salaried, so he didn't get overtime. So it's like, dude, that's a good boss. Anyone looking out for those beneath him makes the position they're in respect to. And he would do the dirty work too. Like, if we were missing people, he'd go right out to the aisles and he would start, you know, fucking stocking that stuff like he was one of us. He never shied away from the hard work. And I think everybody respected him for that. The lady that kind of changed my trajectory in life was like that too. She was a manager who was just known to be very cool and buddy with everybody. And she kept me from getting fired because I had a shitty attitude. I came in at 19. I thought I knew better than everybody. I didn't respect authority whatsoever. And she pulled me back into the office and was like, hey, just letting you know, you would have been fired already if it wasn't for me. I told them to give you another chance, but your personality is awful. Like, it's very off-putting. And it's gonna need to change. And because she was known to be such a nice and cool manager, that hit me hard because I was like, wow, she's that laid back and I pissed her off that much. I really do need to change. And ever since then, I had nothing but respect for her. You know, sometimes you need people to just tell you the fucking truth. And that's the best thing she could have done. So That really changed my perspective on a lot of things that day. Yeah, that's a gem. Oh yeah, he was awesome. So, you know, that obviously that didn't sit well with us. Like, we just come in one day, it's like, oh yeah, your boss is just gone. You know, the one that did all the amazing work and kept the whole shift running smoothly. Yeah, we sent him packing. But yeah, that lady also helped me a lot. Just in my career progression and stuff. I'm anti-authority only to corporate and people who I think are just abusing power. Yeah. Pretty much same. Yeah, because you know, retail gets a very bad rap, and so does fast food, because they are known to have a lot of corruption and a lot of mistreatment. But I mean, if you get the right set of supervisors, you can really do well in those jobs, and you can learn a lot, and you can learn what it means to be like a good, punctual employee and feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself, make good money. And that's kind of where I was. I was very, very lucky to work under Aaron and, you know, the other lady. Used to be anti-people, though, like that, where I just rejected whatever was being told. It sucked, but I grew out of it. Yeah, I did not respect authority. Like I said, I came in when I was 19. I didn't give a fuck what anybody said to me. I was like, I'm not going to listen to you. We had these meetings that we would have to go to at like 10, because I was doing a 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. I would purposefully show up 5 minutes late so I didn't have to go to the meeting. I was just being a shithead. And it's like I was way too young and just starting out to act like that. But I'm glad somebody told me, because they very easily could have just been like, yeah, you're a shit employee. We're just going to fire you. So the fact that she was willing to give me another chance, like, I was like, okay, clearly something needs to change here. Like, this is not the way that I should be acting. So, yeah. And, you know, people have described me sometimes as an honest asshole. And I know a lot of people say that. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm just so honest, but then they're genuinely just being a dickhead. No, look, I will tell you the truth, but I'm not going to go personal about it. I'm not going to say you're a piece of shit or something like that. I'm just going to say, you know, I will tell you if I think something's not right, because I heard this on All Things on an episode of Hoarders, and I've said this before. I used to watch a lot of Hoarders, and they have these psychologists that'll come in and try to work with the people who have severe hoarding issues. And one of the ladies on there named Dr. Zasio said she firmly believes that the truth is a gift. It doesn't matter if the person likes the truth. That's not what matters. What matters is that they take the truth that you tell them and they take it seriously. I had a theme park job, which was pretty cushy, but I was a shithead like that and didn't like the hot sun or hard work. Genuinely look back at those times and cringe when I remember that I was paid to be like that. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. But I agree with that sentiment. I think, you know, obviously don't be a dickhead about it. Like I said, don't just go up to somebody and be like, you're a fucking asshole and this, that, and the other. Just be honest with them. Like, honesty is so important. You know, if that manager had never sat me down and said, your attitude is really bad, nobody likes it, and it needs to change or you will be fired, then I would just continue doing what I was doing until I did get fired. And then, of course, with my mentality at the time, I would think that I did nothing wrong. You know, I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. You guys get the reference, but we're not going to go there. That's probably how I would have felt. Seriously. So it's very important that you listen when people are trying to tell you something. It's very, very important. Keeps me up at night knowing how awful I was to my parents and authority figures when they were looking out for me like they did. Glad I changed oh, dude, same. The fact that I even have a relationship with my parents is like a miracle, because I was dating the wrong types of women. Like I was dating this one girl that was like a complete trouble. Like, she was literally the definition of all the warning signs. Like, she hung out with just, you can picture the type, like druggies and fucking, she didn't do drugs herself, but she hung out with druggies and like, who knows, maybe she was completely bullshitting me about that, but like chain smoker, you know, like a lot of facial piercings, which I don't have a problem with, by the way, but it was like a lot, just the definition of like everything that your parents would warn you against. And I dated her specifically because of that in a lot of ways, because I wanted to be rebellious. I was just going a really, really bad direction. So all it took was somebody sitting me down and telling me that I was being a fucking idiot. And I was like, you know what? I should probably stop being a fucking idiot. It's that simple. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's not that easy. It actually is that easy. Okay? It is that easy. You need to at least give a person a chance before you berate them for their behavior. Yeah, exceptions obviously exist, but whenever possible, it's good to try to reach out to the person first. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with what you and Leon are saying. Automod held your message for some reason. Oh, it's because you used the word white. That's okay. I'll let that go. Oh, it's because it... Okay. Yeah, the whole permitted term was white girl bitch, but you're talking about yourself, so obviously I'm gonna let that go. I just used to be a typical white girl bitch to my parents, lying, stealing, letting them down. It was hell for them, yet they still loved me. It took my mom getting sick again and times getting tough for me to learn how to cooperate. Yeah. I think life always has a way of like showing you, look, I don't fully believe in like karmic retribution or that people are always going to be punished for things, because sometimes people just get away with some heinous shit. But there definitely seems to be like life definitely has a way of showing you, you know, the problems with your behavior a lot of times, I've found. And it has never missed in my life, that's for sure. When I've been shitty to people, I have dealt with the backlash of it. And I'm tired of dealing with the backlash of it. That's why I don't behave like that anymore. Sometimes it's not just punishment for your actions, but also just watching others suffer can make you stand up and make changes. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and plus, I don't know other people's upbringing either. Like, your upbringing is always going to be the biggest factor in the way that you behave as an adult. So until you level with somebody and you have a conversation about something like that, obviously you don't have to get into it if they've experienced trauma or anything, but you know, if somebody has, and maybe they've gotten aversion to certain types of people or authority figures for other reasons, then, you know, it's important to take that into consideration without just assuming that they have a shit attitude, you know? Because your upbringing is always going to be an important factor in that type of conversation. But like I said, you know, nowadays I go into retail stores. Like just a few days ago, we went to a local pharmacy, and it's like also a GM store. It's like a Rite Aid. And dude, it's just so familiar. It's like going home, you know, because I did night shift for so long. Anytime I walk into a place like that, and I primarily worked in chemicals, so like laundry detergents and bleach and dryer sheets and all that stuff. I think, seriously, I think my allergies got like turbo defensive. Like I hardly ever get allergies now. And I have not gotten a singular nosebleed. I used to get frequent nosebleeds before working that job, but I swear it like strengthened something in my nose got strengthened because of all the fucking chemicals. Like my immune system just leveled up, for lack of a better term, because I was around such harsh chemicals all the time. I mean, it was heavy shit, like drain cleaner. Dude, I would open up cases of Drano and one of the lids would be cracked and the Drano would be all over the box, and I would have to go immediately do like the chemical rinse on my hands to make sure I didn't get a corrosive chemical burn. Some crazy shit. Sometimes you just gotta drink and sniff bleach to level up. Whoa. No. Twitch, that was a spot of trolling. That was only humor. Please understand that was a troll. I pressed the button so you know it's a troll. But anyways, yeah, that's just my point in all this is like, Oh my god, the fucking Tide Pod thing. Dude, that 4-star store, and I think to this day, most stores have Tide Pods locked up because of that. I think they still do. Because I'm pretty sure the Rite Aid that we went to had them locked up still. That forced us to put our fucking Tide Pods in security things, though. Because all the fucking social media influencers were showing up at the store trying to pretend like they were going to do the Tide Pod challenge. I still would love to know how the fuck that even came to be. Like, what YouTube trend started the fucking Tide Pod challenge? What a stupid thing. We truly live in a society. You know what I'm saying? Society. You know what? A lot of the YouTube videos I watched were fake. Like they would pretend like they were opening a Tide Pod, and it turned out that they had like food coloring and syrup or some shit is what they were actually doing. So a lot of the videos were faked, of course, because if you actually drink one, you will like immediately die or need to call poison control to get like charcoal put in your stomach so you can get that shit extracted. No idea what that even is, but I don't follow these influencers at all. Both too old and just, it's so much energy. Oh yeah, for sure. Like chasing trends and trying to be, you know, chasing trends and trying to be as immensely, you know, tuned in to what's going on as you possibly can for no apparent reason. Even as a kid, I avoided that stuff. Doesn't take much to be educated. Yeah. Yeah, the days of, like, I don't know, like, TikTok might be banned in the US here soon. I thought that was a thing. Like, didn't it already pass in the House of Representatives or something? It just has to pass in the Senate and then be signed off on by the president and then... I don't know. I just have been hearing a lot about TikTok getting banned here lately. Honestly feel so lucky for my upbringing since I never did dumb shit like that. You know, it says a lot that you would prefer to do soft drugs and light drinking than be a TikToker. That actually says a lot about you as a person. It says a lot about a lot of people because a lot of people feel the same. I kind of hope it gets banned too. Yeah, it's like monopolizing fucking the youth of America's free time for real. I see so many videos of parents being like, my son or daughter won't get off of TikTok, and like they'll just show videos of hours and hours, like they're playing a game on one iPad, and every single time a video ends on the other iPad, they're swiping. Swipe, play game. Swipe, play game. Swipe, play game. Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Holy shit. Like that's the definition of iPad baby. My immediate thing would be like, why are you posting about this instead of fucking doing something about it? Like, be a fucking parent and, you know, do good shit for your kid. What are you doing? That's why I respect, like, LeBron James, because he didn't even let his kids, what's up, Dave? He didn't even let his kids have cell phones until they were like 16. I respect that shit because he is he's got a Nike contract literally worth $1 billion. It's a lifetime deal. And he didn't let his kids have phones, which of course he could easily have. He doesn't even need to afford them. Companies would throw their phones at him for a sponsorship opportunity. And he didn't let either of his kids have them until they were 16. I fucking respect that. Because he knows what social media does to people. Kids watching a person playing Subway Surfers while another person dances above, all while playing Jetpack Joyride or something. Yeah. It's fucking crazy, man. Dr. Red has a friend like that. Like, Dr. Red has a friend named something crazy, and it's like Crazy Killer 09, and he will legitimately get in like a PlayStation party, and he will watch TikToks for 9 straight hours. That's all he will do is watch 9 hours of TikToks. I feel for parents nowadays having to deal with shit like that. And then, of course, you get the lazy parents that are like, well, I don't want to actually do any parenting today, so I'm just going to let the iPad take care of little Johnny or whatever. I'm just going to let the iPad be the babysitter. Back in the day, we used to say that about the Xbox, letting the Xbox be the babysitter. It's sad how much sludge there is on these sites. So much BS propaganda mixed with fake game ads. Yeah, Subway Surfers and Tate Podcast. Yeah, it's like Twitter is like that. I refuse to call it X, but Twitter's like that as well. Like the only feature that I even somewhat like about new Twitter is community notes, and specifically because of those fake ass mobile games. Because you'll see those stupid CG videos of like a game that actually looks fun, and then you'll see a big community note just underneath that says this ad is misleading, the real game is nothing like this, and it's full of microtransactions. So that I do like. Imagining how the youth of today will grow up for the future terrifies me sometimes. Yeah, I saw a video the other day of some guy being like, it's so hilarious that people think Gen Z will be drafted for a war, and the guy's like, because we would literally just like say no. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, people tried that in the past. It didn't go so well for them. See how well that works out for you, bucko. I think you misunderstand what a draft is, my mans. It's like you either go or you have to put up 6 figures and go to jail for fucking 15 years. Yeah, just swipe left on him, dude. Oh my god. And you know, in the same breath, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, we need these kids to go through war so they can be real men. No, I don't believe in that shit either. I think every generation should want an easier life for the generation coming after them. I think that's just generally what leads to a happier, you know. I think that's an admirable goal. Like, if we were to ever have kids, I want them to have an easier life than I had. Why the fuck would I not want that for them? Yeah, exactly. Like, I hate when people say shit like that. It's like, oh, my grandpa stormed the beaches of Normandy. He's a real man, and these fucking sugar-addicted Fortnite players need to get into a war. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here with that. We should be happy that the youth only has to worry about, like, a very small set of things these days. We should be happy that their lives are, like, easier than ever. Yeah, you need to destroy it. Or, you know, you need to get like life-altering PTSD from an event like the Normandy, you know, D-Day storming. Dude, nobody needs to go through that to be a fucking man. Stop that bullshit right now. What a weird thing to say. I saw a stupid ass tweet from a guy. That's where I get the sugar addicted Fortnite player thing. But there was a fucking guy that was like, these kids are too soft nowadays. It was a joke tweet, obviously. But he was like, these kids are too soft. They need to go back into the mines. Oh my. Oh my god. He's like, the children yearn for the mines. It was so stupid, dude. He's like, we introduced, you know, the 18 or 16 to 18 age limit for workers. We've got fucking, you know, all these restrictions in place for 8 hours a day work and all this. And look what it got us. A bunch of sugar addicted Fortnite players, you know, that type of tweet. Just obviously being stupid as hell. I'll tell the truth though. I do think that kids are more in tune with what's going on than ever before. I know that for a fact. Like, there's just as an example, like if you think about this culture of podcasting. Hey, what's up, Jordan? This culture of podcasting. That's why they have Fortnite with pickaxes and Minecraft with mines. Yeah, it's subliminal programming, dude, is what it is. It is subliminal messaging. Yeah, not programming, subliminal messaging. But yeah, just with podcast culture and different things, like I definitely think that the youth is more in touch with what's actually going on. Whereas when I was growing up, my parents would just shield me from like all current events and things going on. It feels like, you know, kids can't necessarily avoid that as easily nowadays. So it definitely feels like they're more in tune with like current events and shit, which is, you know, it's neither here nor there. I mean, I was okay. And if I had a kid, I would probably not want them to know about it either, depending on what it was. Cause I would like them to just, you know, have a childhood and be allowed to be a kid without having to worry about the problems of the real world. But that's just me. You know, maybe some parents want to make their kids aware of things that are going on. Less people being taken advantage of in a workspace by employers, but they can't read fine print now. Yeah. Yeah, the youth of today are wising the fuck up in all the right ways, but also the least important ways. Yeah, I would say work is a big one. Because they are more than ever aware of what they should not settle for less than. Like they're more aware than ever that they shouldn't get fucked as far as their pay, and they won't just do whatever to get ahead. You know, they're willing to say, no, I'm not going to grind myself into dust. I'm going to work to change the setup so that people don't have to do that, and that's cool. The rate at which kids are becoming inadequate in reading comprehension is astounding. Yeah. Yeah, the fine print, that'll fucking get you, that's for sure. Anyways, so I was gonna do a solo podcast episode tonight, but we pretty much already had one. I'm just gonna leave it as the just chatting segment with Silent Hill music playing. With the world at their fingertips, they think that that's it. All knowledge is directly in a database for whatever, so they don't need to learn it. Yeah. I have heard that for sure. Because, you know, there's that whole concept of like, oh, you'll never have a calculator in your pocket everywhere you go. My math teacher used to say that. Even I got lazy sometimes. Not lazy enough for ChatGPT, but still. Yeah. Yeah, me and Future had a really good conversation about AI and kind of the direction that it's going, which is a very concerning direction. By the way, Dave, if you hadn't noticed, I gave you mod back. You were VIP for a long time, but I went ahead and removed somebody else's mod and added yours, just cause I wanted to have somebody that was a little bit more active. But I only ever have 5 mods. I never have felt the need to go higher than 5 of people I know I can actually trust. Anyways, let's play. Let's finish MGS2, because we're basically at the very end. My math teacher said that all the time. When she would talk about how I need math in my life, I raised my phone and she couldn't rebuke it. Still think she was right, but in the wrong ways. Yeah. I just don't know if there's much value in knowing very, very complex, advanced mathematical principles. Like, I mean, I work in IT, and I have never felt the need to know anything mathematically the way that I was taught. Like, we spent an exorbitant amount of time graphing parabolas on a fucking TI-84. Like, where in real life is this going to assist me? Like, ever? Where? I cannot... I don't understand it. Can't wait to watch you swing your sword at the baddies till they explode into a million nano machines. Well, I have a strategy for this, which involves the coolant spray. And it's really cheap. Okay. First of all, I think this video signal is way too dark, so let's fix it. There's a bunch of graphing shit on the electrician's test that you will never need to plug in wires. Yeah. It's just like a litmus test to see if you went through public school. Yeah, you see the brightness difference there? I had it way too dark last stream. We're in the ascending colon. We're literally being shat out by arsenal gear. And that's intentional, by the way. I'm gonna blow my nose really quick and we'll finish it. All right, sorry about that, guys. We're back. It actually seems a little dark on the capture. It shouldn't be, though. I feel like if I change it, it would be worse. Yeah, see, that's how, for some stupid reason, that's how I had it last time. Look, that's not even correct. Like, that's just awful. The white point, I guess, is essentially what that's setting. All right. He's right in front of me, but I'm going to call him anyway.
Teach yourself how to handle the blade. You're going to need it at some point. Move the right stick to control the blade. Move the right stick up and down to slash up or down, and left and right to slice the blade horizontally.
I'm done, dude. Hey, what's up, Fudge Me? Got my roommate's friend living with me, and they got their life together more than I do. Like, they got kicked on their ass, and they went couch surfing immediately, ready to fix their sitch. Yeah. I've been doing great, man. Just chilling.
If you run out of ammo, you can have mine.
You got enough?
Absolutely. Infinite ammo.
Wait up, Snake.
What?
Snake, have you ever enjoyed killing someone?
That is, yeah. Referencing the bandana from MGS1.
Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between reality and a game.
Diminished sense of reality, huh? VR training will do that.
No, it was field training when I was a kid. I lied, Snake. I have more field experience than I can remember. It's not VR that's doing this to me.
Raiden, we don't carry guns to take people down. We're not here to help some politician either.
You can say that because you're a legend, a hero. I'm Jack the Ripper, a dirty reminder of a terrible mistake.
Legends don't mean a whole lot. I was just a name to exploit. Just like you.
People will remember only the good part, the right part of what you did.
There's no right part in murder. Not ever. And we're not in this to make a name for ourselves.
Then what are you and Otacon fighting for?
A future? You can stop being part of a mistake. Starting now.
What am I? What am I supposed to do?
Find something to believe in.
That's what I was reminded of when I saw Snake's ass.
Pass it on to the future.
Believe in what?
That's your problem. Come on.
All right, so what we do... Oh, well, after this.
Snake, Raiden.
Otacon, you all right?
Yeah, so are all the hostages.
That's good news.
How's everything on your end?
All right for now, but there is something.
What?
The Colonel's last transmission was strange.
Strange? How?
Just strange. No idea.
Interference?
I don't know.
Where is this Colonel?
I don't know. I've never met the man, actually.
I'll dig around.
Thanks. I owe you one.
If there's anything else, call me on the codec. I might be able to help. The frequency is 141.12.
Raiden just now coming to the realization that he's never met the Colonel. Alright, so here's what we do here. We sit our asses right here, wait for them to get close, and we hit them with the coolant. Well, we can do this. Okay. We let Snake do all the heavy lifting here, actually. Oh shit. Okay.
Don't fall behind.
There we go. I'm putting the Tengus to sleep so that they don't count as kills. We need a low kill count if we want a better rank. Is he shooting up there?
We're going in.
I'm not. You do what you want, little bro. Fuck. Oh, Snake is gonna die, dude. Oh shit, well. I knew he was gonna die, dude. Fuck.
Stop kidding around.
What?
Snake?
No one's kidding. Your boy died. Who the fuck is kidding around, Otacon? Piece of shit. Okay. Wow, it's so laggy. Good. They'll never see it coming, dude. Oh, for real, dude. Everybody's got drip in this game. I like the skull suit a lot, too. It's really cool. Even though it was designed to be a bit feminine.
Don't fall behind.
What anime protagonist isn't a little bit feminine? Let's not kid ourselves here. Okay. Oh, what? Okay, well, Snake is gonna fall asleep here soon. This is what we need coolant for. Oh god. What the fuck? Okay. Well, this could be going better. Where is Snake in all this, by the way? Oh, he's asleep. I was wondering, where is he, dude? I fucking put him to sleep. Well. And that's how you fuck up, everybody. You piece. Okay. This has got to be restarted. I fucking put him to sleep. That's why this game is fucking great, because you can do things like that. That's why this game is fucking awesome, because you can do things like that. Where's my PSG 1T? What? I was trying to let off square without shooting, but I couldn't. Oh shit.
Now, go.
All right. Oh my god. He didn't waste any time, dude. Who's shooting me? Oh, it's this piece of shit. Okay. I'd never use the katana here because it's just not the best thing to do. Oh shit. Pretty horse shit fight, I'm not gonna lie, but whenever the bodies stop disappearing, that's how you know you're almost done. Love how one of the greatest weapons in this game's universe is just a katana with a bullet vibe to it. True.
Where?
Inside Arsenal.
What?
I've checked out all the possibilities, but I keep coming back to Arsenal. It isn't a relay point, it's the origin of the signal. And the encryption protocol it uses is exactly the same as that of Arsenal's AI, the so-called GW.
What the hell does this mean?
I think it means you've been talking to an AI.
That's impossible.
The kernel probably isn't GW per se. GW was most likely stimulating cortical activity in the dormant part of your brain through signal manipulation of your own nanomachines. The kernel is, in part, your own creation, cobbled together from expectations and experience.
Almost like
That's crazy.
this
But it's
game.
probably the truth. The virus may be starting to affect GW, which would explain the kernel's behavior.
It was all an illusion? Everything I've done so far?
Raiden,
Snake, what's happening around here?
I don't know. What I do know is that you're standing right here in front of me. Not an illusion. Flesh and blood.
Huh?
It's your call. You can drop this if you want.
No, I can't do that. Let's go.
Raiden, they've got Rose.
What?
Rose is being held in the holds.
It's a trap.
Rose!
Raiden, get a grip.
But Snake...
It's a trap. Since the Colonel doesn't exist, there's no way he can take Rose hostage.
Yeah, you're right.
I am right.
Okay. Does Rose exist?
Don't be weird. She's your...
What if I've never really met her?
What?
If the Colonel is something that I partly dreamt up, then everything I remember about her could be...
Don't jump to conclusions.
You and Otacon are the ones that say the Colonel never existed.
Raiden.
Is this what Olga was talking about?
Yeah, so all the times that we've been talking to the Colonel and doing fucked up shit, like, you know, taking pictures of that one girl, Jennifer, that was held hostage, and all those things that he was partially agreeing with me on, it was basically just Raiden agreeing with himself. The whole Emma thing where the Colonel was talking about if she's unconscious, you can help her by doing this, and he goes, unconscious? You know, that fucking weird ass line. He was just basically agreeing with himself about being fucking weird with Emma. Oh yeah, don't I have body armor? What the fuck? I could have been wearing it this whole time. I'm so stupid. Now this is a bullshit fight. Especially on European Extreme. There's like 170 fucking Tengu here. Yeah, even he couldn't endorse his own actions. He knew he was being weird when he was in the bathroom. Because even the Colonel said, I highly disapprove. Okay. So we just clear out some space and then we go back here. And we use the coolant again. This is so dumb, dude. But basically the coolant makes them, it puts them in a state where they can't deflect the bullets, and that's why Snake can kill them. See that? They can't deflect the bullets when you're firing off the coolant spray. That's why it's horse shit. Now Snake just needs to take him out. Huge. Let's go, Snake. I know this is really dumb, you guys. Yeah, it says fish and mailed. It'll do it again, too. I can put him to sleep during that, too. Let's go, Snake. Huge. Oh god. Oh, Snake is gonna die again. No, don't. I'm trying to help you, dude. Okay. Oh, the bodies are still disappearing. Okay. We're good now. Whew. I realize that's a horseshit strategy, but I'm gonna use it anyway. It keeps our kill count low. That's why it's important.
Fortune.
It's been a long wait, Solid Snake. The root of all my sorrows.
What?
2 years ago, you killed my father. That was the beginning of hell for us. Everyone I love has been taken from me one by one, and no matter how hard I try, I can't follow them. An endless nightmare. The only thing we live for is to see it end. Our wait is almost over.
You can't be serious about firing the nuke.
Since no one can kill me,
Yes,
I may
Leon.
as well kill everyone I can. Starting with you, Solid Snake.
Damn! Looks like I'm today's pick. You go on ahead. You want eternal rest? I've got it right here.
Hell yeah, with the power of gun, he will solve this
What are
situation.
you gonna do? Bullets can't get near her.
I'll think of something. There's no such thing as a witch.
You think you can kill me?
I don't know what your group's been through, but let's get one thing clear. I didn't kill your father.
Do you think anyone believes your lies?
Raiden, get out of here!
This part is also fucking insane on European Extreme. There's like 70 Metal Gear Rays that you have to fight on that.
Jack, I've been watching how you fight.
Maybe not 70, but a lot.
It looks like you've remembered the way you used to kill in the old days. Or is it one of the S3 plan's proud achievements?
What are you talking about?
It came as a complete surprise when Ocelot discovered the S3 data from GW. Not a bad idea, though. Using fire to fight fire, creating the perfect assassin to retire Solid Snake's brother. S3 stands for Solid Snake Simulation. It's a development program to artificially reproduce Solid Snake, the perfect warrior. The result is a Foxhound Commando. When Foxhound no longer exists, a simulated Solid Snake shaped by VR regimen. Sound like someone you know, Jack? I'm sorry to see you reduced to one of the Patriots' puppets. But I've made use of you, and their plan too. Solid Snake's sudden appearance, your arrival. It was obvious the Patriots were among my ranks. I had to smoke out the agent before the mission entered the final phase. You came in handy, as bait. Jack.
Oh, I didn't realize they
those
put
days
two.
during the Civil War were as real as they come. Every day was absolute. Split between life and death.
Oh, her name is Fortune. She's in Dead Cell.
Now you've been led back to war by something less than real. No more games, Jack. At least you know. There's no reason to keep you alive now. I've given you a worthy opponent, at least. But now, You should die as the little Jackie boy I once knew.
Yep, Metal Gear. These are Metal Gear Ray. So for these, we need a lot of Stinger missiles. Wait, do I not even have the Stinger? Never mind. That's what you do, though. You shoot him in the leg and then in the pilot seat. That one just has one more shot and it's done. Yeah, they sort of look like amphibious a little bit. A lot more than Rex in Metal Gear Solid 1. What? Oh, just barely. All right, that one's done. Yeah, you don't have to hit him right on the tip of the knee, just any part on the leg will get it done. Oh shit. Oh. Right in the fucking way, dude. Oh shit. I just realized I was 1 HP. Yeah, you don't have to fight that many on this difficulty, but on European Extreme, you legit have to fight fucking an insane amount. I think actually 35 or 40 of them. Hey, what's up, Kendo?
Oh, don't do this. They'll know.
I'll hold them off. Give you time to get away.
What about you? This is suicide.
Your nanomachines, they're transmitting your vital signs to the Patriots. If you die, my child dies. You understand?
The child.
I see.
What's up, Nico?
So that's why you sold your troops out to me.
Oh, that's a nice Foxhound logo, dude. Nice emote.
Weren't they your comrades?
No, not just comrades. Family. I know I'm going to hell, but at least my child.
I applaud your attitude. If you have a death wish, I'll be happy to accommodate you. See you in hell!
True, Leon. You're not wrong. Nada watching this Gray Fox scene. P90.
You have to.
Oh God.
Yeah, of course he had to spin it before he shot it. Because why wouldn't he?
Enjoy the show, Jack. Let's pick up where we left off. What's going on? What's wrong with it? GW, it's out of control. What?
Yeah, so Emma's virus that she uploaded is actually starting to... Yeah.
Throughout the neural network. I can't shut it down.
What happened?
Maybe some kind of virus.
The Patriots?
I don't know.
Ocelot, what have you been up to?
It's too late. Arsenal's system control is going haywire. It's on an emergency ascent course.
I'll point this out when we get there, but there's something really crazy about the development of this game. I'll point it out here shortly. This is the most anime scene in the whole game, by the way. Oh, what the fuck? He jumps and meows at it. Excuse me?
Damn the Patriots. You still have some use.
I've captured Snake.
Yeah, the P90 does it when I need Stinger missiles. What the fuck? Busted.
Bring him in.
Yeah, so the less healing items you use, actually you have to use 0 to get big boss rank. You have to use 0 healing items and get 0 kills and under 5 alert triggers, I believe. So to do a big boss run, especially on European Extreme, is very, very difficult. Unless you really fucking know what you're doing.
GW, the Arsenal AI is corrupted beyond repair. I admit that I underestimated you.
Yeah, I would like to do it for the first game, but that's also extremely difficult.
I'll squeeze the answers out of you instead, my son.
What do you hope to hear? You know he doesn't know anything.
It's not him I want the answers from.
Yeah, the first one is the easiest. 2 and 3 are very, very hard.
What do you mean?
That's not your business.
Oh, really? It so happens I have some business of my own to attend to.
Planning to hijack Arsenal?
Huh?
You were going to screw me over, weren't you?
Who talked? Ocelot?
Not exactly. I was the one who used Ocelot to suggest the idea to you in the first place.
What?
I was planning to give you Arsenal to begin with.
Why the uncharacteristic generosity?
I'm no philanthropist. Arsenal is far from impregnable. It needs other Metal Gears as guards, a huge payload of warheads, and full air, sea, and land support to function efficiently. Against a large attack force without support, Arsenal is nothing more than a gigantic coffin. Seizing Arsenal gear was never the real objective.
What was your objective then?
A list of names of the Patriots! They were planning to extend their control to digital information flow with GW and Arsenal. That means the information they want to filter out is contained in GW, including that list of the highest 12 members of the Patriots Wiseman's Committee.
Yeah, I don't think I need to point out how culturally relevant this is now.
You would cross out their names
The control of information online.
while we, with our useless arsenal, drew their fire.
Very good.
You were using us all along.
Were you any different?
But your plans hit a snag with GW destroyed, hasn't it?
Or I guess I should say more
No, there isn't.
more accurately censoring
Really?
certain information.
We have our own plans to carry out. We'll take the arsenal since you don't care for it anyway. The purified hydrogen bomb is ready to go.
A nuclear strike won't stop them.
It will damage their power source.
How could he, Leon?
The mindless masses that they control.
Oh shit, chat has not been on screen.
First.
There we go. It's fixed, by the way.
Of course. That was what you wanted.
That was just an April 1st gag. What was going on last time?
Good luck.
Thanks, but I have quite enough of that. What exactly do you find so funny?
Charades usually are humorous. I wouldn't have minded watching some more of it, but we're running a little short on time.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Everything you've done here has been scripted. A little exercise set up by us.
Exercise?
The S3 plan was conceived as a means to produce soldiers on par with Solid Snake. That's what I told you. But the VR training the boy was put through is not the meat of the project. You think this little terrorist incident is your own doing, Solidus? This is the S3 training kernel. An orchestrated recreation of Shadow Moses.
What?
Ames and the President's deaths. The ninja. The computer virus that mimics Fox Die. Did you really think they were all a coincidence? Ames' own nanomachines were used to shut down his pacemaker. I arranged for the appearance of the ninja as well. As for the president, although Johnson realized what was going on, he played out his allotted part. As for the computer virus, it's a digital counterpart of Fox Die. It was also designed to eliminate every scrap of information regarding the Patriots from GW.
The fucking 4D chess right now.
Your plan was invalidated even before execution, Solidus. Fat Man was a different story. He's one of our own people. A sort of examiner we hired to test the boy's progress before letting him tackle the exercise proper. We had to arrange for Stillman's presence to coax the maniac into agreeing. If the boy had allowed the big shell to be destroyed, this exercise would have ended there. The project has no room for failures.
What do you mean?
Given the right situation, the right story, anyone can be shaped into Snake. Even rookies can fight like men of experience. An instant creation of genius. And this training kernel would provide more than enough data to formulate such a program. You, Dead Cell, Olga, you're all nothing but pawns placed to create the perfect simulation. Solidus, you and the boy were selected because your relationship resembles the one between Snake and Big Boss. Fortune, you and the rest of Dead Cell stand in for the Foxhound squad that Snake took on in Shadow Moses. You're the most impressive collection of freaks outside of Foxhound. We've gone to a lot of trouble to set you up against the boy. That story about purified hydrogen bombs is just the tip of the iceberg.
Dude, I cannot wait to see if the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake does well, if they decide to do
The
2.
old man 2 years ago. Throwing your husband in the brig was a part of it too. You were told that the eradication of Dead Cell 6 months ago was an act of the Patriots. We provoked and encouraged your hatred. And you opted for vengeance, just as we planned.
All orchestrated?
Except for the appearance of the real Solid Snake. I wonder now who sent for
That's why the Colonel kept saying he's not a part of the simulation.
Our misfortune was just a part of their project?
Lady Luck. You have nothing that we didn't give you.
What?
Do you know why no bullet could hit you?
The fucking
Wasn't magic
dud.
or some new age mumbo jumbo. Certainly wasn't your psychic talents.
I need to get that as a
It was all
sound redeem.
staged by the Patriots.
Staged.
You were being
I wish I could have
shielded
like
by the
50 sound alert
electromagnetic
slots.
weapons technology that the Patriots developed. Your dead cell comrades loved your father and husband. We needed a pathetic wretch like you to keep them focused. You've been our puppet all along, just like Olga.
No.
You were hamming it up as the tragic heroine, thanks to the script that the Patriots wrote for you. Pure self-indulgence, absorbed in your own misfortune. You couldn't get enough of the drama.
I could have died whenever I wanted to.
Like that small little, you know, snippet of her theme that plays right there.
Thought I got her in the heart.
It missed.
Yeah, apparently the Japanese voice acting is better, but anytime you play that on Twitch, people just meme the shit out of it, so it's really tough to do a playthrough of it.
Waste of metal, my dear, but your luck's run out. This is the little gizmo. There's no such thing as miracles or the supernatural, only cutting-edge technology.
I love the fact that these things roar like fucking dinosaurs for no reason, but it's awesome.
Now that I have enough data, all I have to do is retrieve Arsenal and clean up the refuse from the exercise.
Yeah, Metal Gear Rex roared at the end of the first game too, after Gray Fox dies. Or like, it shrieks.
How's this then?
Yeah. It looks like a turtleneck. Mini Mech Godzillas are sick, true.
You idiot! Get the hell away from there!
I told you, your luck's run out. Take your reward. It's all the payload Ray has. Die!
Everybody down!
I don't understand what happens here.
What the? Impossible!
Like, how is she doing this? How are they explaining this?
She is Lady Luck.
Mumbo jumbo magic bullshit.
Is Helena Jackson,
Literal plot armor.
daughter of a proud and noble soldier.
Yeah, that's one thing I never understood is how she's able to do that. The power was inside her all along.
Again.
Definitely one of the weirdest things about this story.
Damn.
Yeah, heart of the cards of friendship is magic that was inside us all along. It's a recall of the first game's themes. Her genes were superior. Oh, okay. Yeah, it wasn't the liquid arm or anything. It was literally just an arthritic episode that his arm just had. Imagine. It was carpal tunnel flare up.
I've been waiting for this.
It can't be.
Yeah, he got a senior discount voucher at Red Lobster.
Inside this arm all along, waiting for the right time to awaken.
You were inside Ocelot?
Yes, a sleeper in the arm of a Patriot spy.
It was you 2 years ago?
Exactly. I was controlling him. Snake, it was I that leaked information about Arsenal to your partner and got you out here.
What?
You're the only one that can free me. After all...
Vocal cords changed on demand, yeah.
I'm off to bury the Patriots for good.
You know where they are? How?
Why do you think I chose Ocelot as my host? But before I go, I have a family matter to settle with both of you. There's room for only one Snake and one big boss.
At least it's not as bad as yeah.
Time to say goodbye.
Damn.
Like surfing, it's a good way to go.
Yeah, the accent is so ridiculous, man. Like, why the British accent for no reason? Like a Bond villain. I think in MGS1 they did explain that Liquid was in London for a while.
Hey, Snake, you coming?
Or something along those lines. But yeah. So, something about the development of this game. I've talked about this in the past, but originally, after Arsenal Gear is activated, which is what we're riding on top of right now, it was supposed to slam into the World Trade Center, and because 9/11 happened so close to the release date of this game, they changed it at the last second to the Centennial Building. Or not Centennial Building, to the Lincoln Memorial Building? I forget exactly which one it is. But it was changed at the last minute is my point, because originally this was supposed to slam into the World Trade Center. And that would have been in very poor taste. Like 2 months after 9/11 happened. Or 3 months. Whoa, 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 whoa. Too soon, Leon, too soon. Federal Hall, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, they changed it to Federal Hall at the last second.
What are you laughing at?
Do you know what day it is today?
April 30th?
That's right. George Washington took office as the first president of the United States of America 200 years ago today. And it happened right here. We were going to declare another independence, the dawn of a new nation here.
Imagine if the game predates the unfortunate. This game will probably shot to hell. Yeah. There was a lot of things that had to be changed because of 9/11.
This is where freedom could have been born.
A lot of movies, a lot of TV shows had to be edited. Like fucking Lilo and Stitch was edited as well.
All you want is power at any cost.
Jack, it's not power I want. What I wanted to take back from the Patriots are things like freedom, civil rights, opportunities. The founding principles of this country. Everything that's about to be wiped out by their digital censorship. Jack, listen to me. We're all born with an expiration date. No one lasts forever. Life is nothing but a grace period for turning the best of our genetic material into the next generation. The data of life is transferred from parent to child.
These are the core themes of the first couple Metal Gear Solid games, by the way. Really all of them. Except for maybe Phantom Pain.
We brothers are called les enfants terribles. Cloned from our father, with the ability to reproduce conveniently engineered out. What is our legacy if we cannot pass the torch? Proof of our existence, a mark of some sort. When the torch is passed on from parent to child, it extends beyond DNA.
I'd love to play Phantom Pain sometime, because I've never actually sat down and played it properly. Wouldn't it be such a meme if we played it on PS3? That version is so fucked.
By other people, by history.
Yeah, I've never played it on stream. I'd love to play it on stream.
By controlling the digital flow of information. I want my memory, my existence to remain. Unlike an intron of history, I will be remembered as an exon. That will be my legacy, my mark in history. But the Patriots would deny us even that. I will triumph over the Patriots and liberate us all, and we will become the Sons of Liberty.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
Listen to fucking music.
The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human. Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House.
I love DRK, man. He's so great.
The way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
human memories, ideas.
This conversation is
history.
fucking mind-blowing,
Genes
even
don't
now.
contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness.
Like social media.
Fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations.
1,000,001 posts about fucking whatever food you're eating that day on Instagram or sunsets, as if anybody gives a shit.
Alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context.
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on
God.
new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
God, dude, this...
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is...
I forget every time how amazing this is.
To avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths...
Talking about virtue signaling now.
Continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society.
Twitter echo chambers.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I'll decide for myself what to believe and what to pass on.
But is that even your own idea?
Or something Snake told you?
That's the proof of your incompetence right there. You lack the qualifications to exercise free will.
That's not true. I have the right.
Does something like a self exist inside of you?
That which you call self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Another possibility is that self is a
It
concept
is.
you
Immortal it
completely
is.
borrowed under the logic that would endow you with some sense of strength.
That's crap.
Is it? Would you prefer that someone else tell you? All right then. Explain it to him.
Jack, you're simply the best.
Hello there.
And you got there all
Appreciate it, Dr.
by
Red.
yourself.
How was your stream?
What happened? Do you feel lost? Why not try a bit of soul searching?
Don't think you'll find anything, though.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
In denial, you simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better.
Leaving behind in an instant the so-called truth you once embraced.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
You've done nothing but abuse your freedom.
You don't deserve to be free.
We're not the ones smothering the world. You are.
The individual is supposed to be weak, but far from powerless. A single person has the potential to ruin the world.
And the age of digitized communication has given even more power.
100%. Cancel culture now they're talking about?
Species.
Building a legacy involves figuring out what is wanted and what needs to be done for that goal. All this you used to struggle with. Now we think for you.
We are your guardians, after all.
You want to control human thought? Human behavior?
Of course. Anything can be quantified nowadays. That's what this exercise was designed to prove.
You
Hey,
fell
Dr.
in love
Red.
with me just as you were meant to, after all. Isn't that right, Jack?
Ocelot was not told the whole truth, to say the least.
We rule an entire nation. Of what interest would a single soldier, no matter how able, be to us?
The S3 plan does not stand for solid snake simulation. What it does stand for is selection for societal sanity. The S3 is a system for controlling human will and consciousness.
Yeah, this is incredible writing. And it's so sad that people hated this game because they couldn't understand it. So he had to reel all this back for MGS3 and just make it another Snake versus supernatural beings again.
So you see, we're the S3, not you.
And make Raiden into a fucking joke. That's the biggest piss take of that whole game, is just making Raiden into a fucking joke because people didn't like him at the time.
Experience was the final test of its effectiveness.
That's crazy.
You heard what President Johnson said.
The Arsenal's GW system is the key to their supremacy.
The objective of this exercise was to establish such a method. We used Shadow Moses as a paradigm for the exercise.
Yeah.
I wonder if you would have preferred a fantasy setting.
We chose that backdrop because of its extreme circumstances. It was an optimal test for S3's crisis management capacity. If the model could trigger, control, and solve this, it would be ready for any contingency. And now, we have our proof.
Oh yeah, Metal Gear Rising is fucking really cool. Made by Platinum, who also makes Bayonetta.
Raiden, there are also reasons behind your selection.
I think so too, Immortal, because this game is very, very well respected nowadays. Everybody gets it.
Because you were the only one who refused to acknowledge the past. All the others remember what they were and pay for it daily.
But you turn your back on everything you don't like. You do whatever you like, see only the things you like, and for yourself alone.
Yes, Rose can attest to that.
You refused to see me for what I was. I lied to you, but I wanted to be caught. You pretended to be understanding, to be a gentleman. You never made a conscious attempt to reach out to me. The only time you did was when I gave you no choice but to do so.
I was just trying not to.
What? Trying not to hurt me? Dear, the one you were trying not to hurt was yourself. Avoiding the truth under the guise of kindness is all that you did. It occurred to you to do nothing but look out for yourself. Even if you claim that it was for my sake, that feeling was nowhere to be seen. In the end, everything was for your sake. I was never part of the picture.
Exactly right. So you see, you're a perfect representative of the masses we need to protect. This is why we chose you. You accepted the fiction we've provided, obeyed our orders, and did everything you were told to. The exercise is a resounding success.
Didn't I tell you that GW was still incomplete? But not anymore, thanks to you.
Your persona, experiences, triumphs, and defeats are nothing but byproducts. The real objective was ensuring that we could generate and manipulate them. It's taken a lot of time and money, but it was well worth it considering the results. I think that's enough talk. It's time for the final exercise. Raiden, take Solidus down.
Think again. I'm through doing what I'm told.
Oh, really? Aren't you forgetting something?
If you die, my child dies.
The termination of vital signals from your nanomachines means the death of Olga's child. Not to mention the death of Rose. She's wired the same way.
Rose, does she actually exist?
Of course I do, Jack. You have to believe.
Lie. Yeah, capitalized there.
Fight to the death.
Solidus at least wants you dead.
We will collect the necessary data from this last fight. Then we'll consider the exercise closed. So, Jack the Ripper, will it be Solidus, the Patriot's creation, or you, Solidus's creation? Our beloved monsters, enjoy yourselves.
That is probably the peak of all of Metal Gear Solid, that conversation right there. That is unbelievable. That is fucking unbelievable, that whole conversation that just happened. The ending of this game, period.
But still a monster, shaped by a dark and secret history. We need to decide which monstrosity will have the privilege of survival. By the way, Jack, I was the one who killed your parents. I claimed you for my own and raised you as a soldier in the army of the devil. I am your foster father and your worst enemy.
Why?
Because I needed to know whether we were really someone else's creation. We're repeating history, Jack. Liquid and Solid hunted down Big Boss, trying to sever the tie that bound them to him. Unless you kill me and face your past, Jack, you will never escape. You'll stay in the endless loop. Your own double helix.
Double helix, obviously, with a double meaning there. Like DNA.
It's time we were both free. I have other reasons for wanting you dead. The clues to the Patriots inside GW have been erased, but there are other traces. Inside you.
What?
The information is being carried by the nanomachines in your cerebral cortex, and throughout the neural network they formed.
Yeah, I remember being a kid and not understanding any of the context and just thinking that this was an epic final boss fight. Now that I can actually appreciate the context, it's so much more enjoyable. Yeah, I was one of those kids. I was like, dude, end the talking. I just want to do the fight already. I want to do the epic fucking fight. I was absolutely that kid. Oh, fuck. I missed that. I was, my timing on that was like 2 seconds too late. Yeah, that doesn't work. Not against a missile.
What's wrong with you?
Hey, no problem, Leon. Appreciate you hanging out as always.
Let's go. What are you doing? Take this.
Yeah, Solidus ends up following in their footsteps anyway. Very true.
What's wrong with you?
Second phase, yeah. Why does he look older than them? That's a good question. Maybe he was created first. That's possible.
Right, you have to beat Solidus. This is your last duty.
We're not just pawns in some simulation game, you know.
Yes, you are. You're nothing but mere weapons. No different from fighter jets or tanks.
What the?
The old model destroyed 4 years ago was Rex.
The new amphibious model is Ray.
Both of these are the same as
Did you see her, like, blank wide eyes?
To refer to Japanese warplanes during World War II.
Your codename Raiden, too, comes from the Japanese Navy's name for one of its interceptors.
Stop it. I'm not a weapon.
Oh, really? Do you know the code name the U.S. Armed Forces used for the Japanese fighter Raiden?
It was Jack. Both of you are just weapons to be used and thrown away.
Just weapons to be used on the battlefield. Just pawns in a game. Exactly as you said.
And a weapon has no right to think for itself. Now, it's time to fulfill your purpose. Defeat Solidus.
Take this. Let's go.
Oh shit. Oh, I tried to go for a stab right there. Oh, that would have been nice. I feel like that could have been a really cheap way to do the ending here. We got it done. It's an otaku convention, an Otakon of sorts. Imagine. Yeah, being old enough to appreciate that final conversation with the whatever those beings were if it's the Patriots speaking through that, or if they're trying to claim there's some sort of like just extremely advanced AI we're talking. I don't know what they are. We'll just say the elite is one of the best parts of this game and one of the greatest things in all of fucking gaming, to be honest with you, just as a medium. And when you really sit down and think about it, it is very true. Everything that they're saying, you know, obviously Raiden is defiant, just like we would be defiant. But when you really sit down and think about it, like the concept of self is really just made up of what people have told you is morally right your whole life. We could potentially have lived in a society where everything that's considered immoral is considered moral. But because of what people have just kind of learned over centuries, like we just have this opinion of what morality is, when, you know, the only thing that's defining that is society, or what people have told you, you know. That's kind of what that conversation was getting at. Yeah, you're never actually sure when he's talking to the real Rose and when he's not. Yeah.
Who am I, really?
No one quite knows who or what they are. The memories you have and the role you were assigned are burdens you had to carry. It doesn't matter if they were
Not what I was getting at.
Point. There's no such thing in the world as absolute reality. Most of what they call real is actually fiction.
And then what they said about history being written by winners, like, who knows if history is complete bullshit the way we've told it. But it's like whoever wins the war and genocides the other people is just gonna say whatever they want about it, you know?
Having faith. What we had faith in. What we found important enough to fight for. It's not whether you were right or wrong, but how much faith you were willing to have. That decides the future.
And that's what they were getting at, what I'm talking about. That's what that conversation was getting at.
Listen, don't obsess over words so much. Find the meaning behind the words, then decide. You can find your own name.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
And your own future.
Decide for myself?
And whatever you choose will be you.
I don't know if I can.
I know you didn't have much in terms of choices this time. But everything you felt, thought about during this mission is yours. And what you decide to do with them is your choice.
You mean start over?
Yeah, a clean slate, a new name, new memories. Choose your own legacy.
Yeah, Immortal. That's just one example. There's been like countless societies that have just been genocided out of existence that could have had a bunch of information about the world that's just like lost forever.
By the way,
you know?
What is that?
And we're just not told anything because they were the enemy at the time and they were just wiped off the face of the planet.
Tags.
Yeah, which have the player's name on them.
Anyone you know?
No, never heard the name before. I'll pick my own name and my own life. I'll find something worth passing on. They taught me some good things too.
I know. We've inherited freedom from all those who fought for it. We all have the freedom to spread the word, even me.
Snake, what about Olga's child?
Don't worry, I'll find him. Count on it. As long as you keep yourself alive, he's safe.
Do you know where Liquid went?
I put a transmitter on his ray.
Did he head for the Patriots?
Yeah, but I have a feeling they
Yeah.
gave Ocelot a bogus location to begin with.
Or Jack. He gets called Jack in MGS4 a lot by Rose.
Cheer up, we have a better lead. This contains the list of all the Patriots.
But Ocelot took it.
The one we gave you wasn't the real thing.
What?
This virus is coded to destroy only a specific part of GW, namely the information about the Patriot's identity. Which means that there's a parameter coded in here that defines what that information is.
I get it. Analyze the code and you can probably find out where they operate. Count me in.
No, you have things to do first. And people you need to talk to.
Yeah, there's so many examples of that. And that's what I love about this game, is it really sparks your brain and makes you think about life in a whole different way. There's very, very few things in any interactive medium that can do it as well as this does.
Nothing.
Like, this game will fucking change your whole perspective on
Can I
life.
ask you something? Who am I, really?
I wouldn't know. But we're going to find out together, aren't we?
Oh. Yeah.
See me for what I am, okay?
I know.
Not much.
Do you remember this place?
Of course. This is where we first met. I remember now.
Hmm?
Today is the day I met you.
That's it.
Yeah, so there has to be a line. She knows about the conversations we were having on the big shell, so maybe at some point she was involved in it, but it's up to your interpretation when that switched over to being the GW expectation / AI. Because we don't know for sure when that changeover happened, but she is aware of conversations we had at the beginning of the mission.
To the future.
What?
He said all living things want their genes to live on.
Are you talking about the baby?
Yeah. The genes aren't the only thing you pass on. There are too many things that aren't written into our DNA. It's up to us to teach that to our children.
What kind of things?
About the environment, our ideas, our culture, poetry, compassion, sorrow, joy. We'll tell them everything together.
Is that a proposal?
This is for your ears only.
Yeah, I think this footage was shot in 2000. I heard somebody say that this is a bad credits song. I was like, what the hell is wrong with your ears, man? People think that the Metal Gear Solid 3 one is bad too. I think they're both absolutely perfect. Well, that's going to be something they'll have to deal with in the remake if they end up making one. Shinkawa, the fucking GOAT. Character designer since the very beginning. I like how it credits Nastasha Romanenko, a fictional character. How did Konami release two of the greatest games ever in 2001, man? They used to be at the forefront of the industry. That's what's so fucked up about how they are now. They both give me the same feeling, this and Silent Hill 2, every time I finish them. 2001 in general was an amazing year for games. But this holiday season was actually what kind of propelled the PS2 to be at the forefront of all 6th gen. GTA 3, Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid 2 all came out on PS2 in that November-December area. Man, it doesn't get much better than that, dude. And that was just the beginning for that system.
'Cause to fly.
And in my opinion, I think this is the peak of Metal Gear Solid. I think it never really hit this peak again. The ending of 4 got close, but I don't think anything touches this.
It's there that I'll find inner peace, not war, and dreams that
I mean, this touches on all the themes, you know, from 1. And the themes of Metal Gear in general. You know, passing genes on to the next generation, what does it mean to be alive if you can't do that? How do you leave a lasting impression and a memory? How is that possible if you can't reproduce, you know? Those themes are incredibly strong in this game. We learn way more about the Patriots in this game. This may be peak Solid, but for me, it's not peak Metal Gear. Turning from jeans to memes was a fucking incredible decision. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Yeah, the president grabbed our balls in this, and then in fucking 3, Kojima just submitted to all the pissed off little fans that couldn't understand what he was trying to do with this game, and turned Raiden into a joke and was like, hey guys, do you like the fact that we're beating Raiden up and stripping him down and implying that he has gay sex with Colonel Volgin? Isn't that hilarious? Tee-hee. Just like a slap in the face to people that actually like this game. Yeah, Raiden is in 3. His name is Colonel Rykov or whatever. It's just obviously Raiden's face and model into just a complete joke of a character. Yeah, Rykov Raidenovich or whatever the fuck, yeah. It is, I'm not, I didn't dispute that, but yeah, he tries so hard to make, like, just completely dump on everything that this game builds just to appease the people that didn't like 2.
Life isn't just about passing on your genes.
He right here wraps up the whole theme of these games.
Behind much more than just DNA. Through speech, music, literature, and movies, what we've seen, heard, felt, anger, joy, and sorrow. These are the things I will pass on. That's what I live for. We need to pass the torch and let our children read our messy and sad history by its light. We have all the magic of the digital age to do that with. The human race will probably come to an end sometime, and new species may rule over this planet. Earth may not be forever, but we still have the responsibility to leave what traces of life we can. Building the future and keeping the past alive are one and the same thing.
See, he just perfectly wraps up the entire theme of this game. In that one passage right there, he just wrapped up the entire theme, and arguably a Solid, period. You know, Metal Gear Solid 3 is a lot about legends and...
It's me. I've finished going over that disc.
Did you find the Patriots list?
Of course. It contains the personal data of 12 people. There was a name on it. Snake, it was one of our biggest contributors.
What's going on around here?
I don't know.
Anyway, where are they?
Well, we were right about them being on Manhattan, but...
But what?
They're already dead. All 12 of them.
When did it happen?
Well, about 100 years ago.
What the hell?
Well, in my personal opinion, and this might be a hot take, I don't think David Hayter should have voiced Big Boss. This is going to be Elephant probably again. That was so bad. Kind of low alert modes, but... What? Why didn't it give me a rank? Oh, Scorpion. Okay. Not terrible. At least it wasn't fucking Elephant.
You're pretty good.
hate getting Elephant Man because I mean it starts with an E, so it might as well just say you fucked up horribly. E rank is awful. He is, yeah, but every other time that Big Boss appears when he's older, his voice is totally different. So like I get that people's voices change as they age, but why would Solid Snake and Big Boss have identical voices when Liquid doesn't sound like him? Like it almost makes less sense that he's voiced by the exact same guy and talks the exact same way as Solid Snake. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, you could argue like Liquid got the recessive genes and maybe that's why he sounds so different, but still. Solidus doesn't sound like Big Boss. They've got different voices. And Solidus is supposed to be the superior clone to Solid and Liquid, so why doesn't he sound like Big Boss? If he's the superior one, he should sound identical, right? So would they just have David Hayter voicing Solid Snake and Solidus in this game? How would that work? No, Liquid actually spent time in London. That's where that comes from. The British accent. What an unbelievable game. What an unbelievable game. That game, I swear, I say this every time we play it, that game just makes me think about life in a completely different way. And I think that's why I consider it to be the peak of Metal Gear Solid as a series, because there's just no other game. I mean, 1 gets close at the ending, but 1 has a more defined story, especially in the sense that the Shadow Moses events are actually happening. Getting to the end of 2, finding out that the VR training was not the real exercise, that the whole Big Shell incident was just a training kernel to try to make Raiden into a Snake tier soldier. Everything was orchestrated carefully. The kernel wasn't real. Rose at a certain point wasn't real. Everything happened exactly according to plan, and then talking to whatever those elites happened to be in the codec at the end, and they just explain that, you know, they're doing this for your own good and you don't know what's best for you, so someone else has to figure out what's best for you. That everything getting turned on its head when you think you're just playing a typical, you know, action game where, oh, it's just another, you know, MGS1. We're just going and taking out members of Dead Cell and the good guys are going to win. You know, that twist that just pulls everything out from underneath you and says that all that you were doing was acting out an exercise exactly as planned. You know, that's the beautiful part about this game. And that conversation we have with Otacon about the Colonel, where he says that the Colonel's personality was cobbled together from Raiden's expectations of how he would be. That's exactly what Metal Gear Solid 2 is. It's cobbled together from Finn's expectations of what a sequel to MGS1 would be. It's just, there's so many levels of excellent writing in this game. That's why I feel like they never really matched this again. Metal Gear Solid 3 was extremely simplified to what Kojima thought people wanted. And kind of to Dr. Red's point, he said it was probably Kojima being passive aggressive because he kind of acts like a brat when he doesn't get his way. Yeah, Kojima basically folded his arms and said, well, you guys complained about Metal Gear Solid 2, so let's just make Metal Gear Solid 3 a fucking actual MGS1 clone where it's just Snake against a bunch of genetic freak, you know, baddies again. Let's just make Snake versus a big round of bosses again. And yeah, it worked, because almost every person you talk to, oh, 3 is my favorite. 3 is the best, dude. 3 is my favorite. And what got a remake first? Metal Gear Solid 3. People don't like having their expectations subverted the way that 2 does. They don't like the fact that you don't just play as Snake beating up another group of Foxhound-like people in 2. They like 1 and 3 because it's Snake against a bunch of bosses and it's epic and cool. That's what people like. And, you know, who am I to say that they're wrong? I don't think that they're wrong. It's just, I just think that 2 did something amazing. They pulled off the bait and switch of you're not playing as Snake, and the whole game just wraps itself up beautifully. It's paced amazingly well. But nobody wants that. Yeah, like Immortal Flame said, nobody wants deep philosophical shit. They just want to play a video game where they whip out a bunch of guns and blow people up. And that's fine too. Like I said, who am I to say that they're wrong? I don't think they're wrong. It's just that we just have vastly different perspectives on what makes a game good, or like what makes art introspective, you know? Yeah, Twin Snakes came out in like 2002, I think. Twin Snakes was either 02 or 03, and then MGS3 came out. 100% Immortal. I don't understand why, to appease people, or maybe like Dr. Red said, maybe Kojima was just being passive aggressive in the way that 3 was developed. I don't understand the need to completely eliminate the philosophical side of things. And to be fair, 3 does have a little bit of that, but it's more in like a historical context. Like you listen to the way the boss talks about like seeing the Earth from outer space. Like there is some philosophical aspect to the story, of course, but it's way, way minimized. It's like 15% of the story, whereas MGS2 is like 85 to 90%, I would say. Maybe 75 to be fair. War is bad. Well, yeah, war is bad is a big aspect of the story. Legends aren't all they're cracked up to be. History can be manipulated by the people telling you. We don't know what the events of historical war or battles really are unless we were there and involved in them, you know? So many people see games as mindless sensory stimulation, ignoring the power of the medium to convey meaning in a unique manner, unlike any other art form. Yeah, and I think Silent Hill 2 and Metal Gear Solid 2 do that probably better than any other games in their generations, for sure. I can't say of all time, because there are some other games that you know, touch on similar themes and can get very close, but I would say from maybe 2001 to 2010 for sure. I don't think the peak got any higher than you know, Silent Hill 2 and Metal Gear Solid 2. Both of those games just make you think about life in a completely different way and consider aspects of life that you maybe never thought about before and how they impact you. And that's what makes them so amazing. You know, they do more than just make me shoot guns at bad guys. Yes, there is a lot of that in the gameplay itself, but the whole point of Metal Gear Solid 2 is that you're just being a weapon. You know, you, the player, are acting out a simulation just as planned, you know? There's fourth wall breaking, and there's philosophical introspection, and there's so many amazing themes about 2, and it was just like lost in translation. A lot of people were just sat there like, but this isn't Snake. Why am I not playing as Snake? Why doesn't he come back after the tanker? I don't like this because I'm not playing as Snake. It's like, the fuck, dude? There may be other great story games, but unlike MGS, it's almost all cutscenes and short, slow-paced media. Yeah, like walking simulators try to do that a lot, you know? A lot of the walking simulator type games try to have these very deep philosophical meanings about life, and it's like, you know, that's fine, but I want there to be some gameplay. Metal Gear Solid 2 gives you everything. It gives you everything you could possibly want in a game. Fun and addicting gameplay. Incredibly deep, rich, beautifully written story. Great characters, great voice acting. And all of this packaged into a game that came out in late 2001? How could you ask for anything more than that? Yeah, and that's what's so sad about Eternal Darkness is fucking Silicon Knights made that game, and it's amazing, and then Silicon Knights went on to fuck up Twin Snakes. When I watched you play MGS2 for the first time, I was like, no Snake, and then about halfway through the game, it clicked, this isn't just Snake again, this is a great story and awesome game, so who cares if no Snake or not? Yeah, and I felt that in the beginning too. I was like, what? He even said this is Snake at the beginning. Like, he's going to get in the elevator, he's going to take off the headgear, and we're going to see Solid Snake again. Hell yeah. And then you see Raiden's blonde hair. You're like, what? Yeah, I felt that a little bit when I started, but by the time I got to, like, the Fortune fight during the bomb defusal, I didn't give a fuck anymore. And plus, it was made obvious from the very beginning that Iroquois Pliskin was Snake. So you knew he was still involved in the game to some extent. That's the other thing. Why do people say there's no Snake? He's literally in the entire game. Yeah, you don't play as him, but he's in the entire fucking game. There's maybe 30 minutes of gameplay at the beginning where Snake is not involved until you get to Vamp for the first time, and he's immediately there. So, like, I don't get it, dude. He's fucking everywhere. He's involved in every fucking facet of the story. People want to rag on the game for being unique. And, you know, I remember people being upset because they're like, oh, but the trailers, they only showed the tanker segment. How boring would it be if they spoiled Raiden in the previews and the trailers? That would have ruined the excitement of everything. That would have ruined what they were trying to do with the game, which the whole theme of the game is subverting expectations. So how could they subvert expectations if they just show Raiden in the trailers? What? No, that had to be kept a secret specifically until the game dropped. So why? I just don't, you know, even when I was young playing this game, I loved it. And because it had the aspect of just being a fun action game. But now that I'm older and I can actually see both sides, I can see the philosophical side, I can see all the themes and the way that they presented them, packaged them, the way that they submitted them through different cutscenes, conversations, different things. It just is a mind-blowing experience. It really is. It is one of those generational games that it's like you play it and you just understand to yourself that this rarely happens in any medium. You know? Silent Hill 2 is like that. You know, you play Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition to this day. When you finish that game, if you get the Leave, In Water, Rebirth, or Maria endings, you think to yourself, wow, this type of shit doesn't happen anymore. You know what I mean? These types of emotional, philosophical peaks in this medium rarely happen now. In a way, MGS2 and Dark Souls 2 sit in a very similar chair where people hated the game at first, but upon retrospective, people realized they were actually good games. Yeah, for sure. And, you know, they found their audience. I remember a lot of complaining. I was super young, but I remember even my dad felt that way about MGS2. He's like, who is this, like, feminine blonde guy that I'm playing as? Like, and he didn't really like the game because he didn't like Raiden. But it's not about whether or not you like Raiden. The whole point is that this game is cobbled together. You know, this whole Big Shell incident is a training exercise. This whole game is cobbled together from what fans thought a sequel to Metal Gear Solid 1 was going to be. And that's fucking brilliant that they thought of that. They said, how about instead of just doing a cookie cutter sequel where we just do bigger set pieces, bigger, you know, more powerful bosses, more flashy effects on the screen. How about we take what people expect it to be and use that to build on an amazing foundation for a story? They went in a completely different direction and somehow executed it perfectly. I mean, to a fucking T. And that deserves credit, you know? That deserves respect, I think. So, you know, that's why 2 is my favorite. I love 1, and it's kind of, some days it's like splitting hairs between whether or not I enjoy playing 1 or 2 more, but I think really when I sit down and think about it, I think 2 is just a game where they came into it with a plan and they executed it to perfection. Like, of course, yeah, the fortune thing is a little bit cheesy where she just like puts her hands out and magically does something. But that's like I said before, that's like splitting hairs. As far as the actual meat and potatoes of the story, it was executed exactly the way that they wanted it to be. Literally everything in MGS2 is the opposite of what you think. Literally, you think you're on a mission going to take down Metal Gear again. Oh, wait, that's not true. Yeah, like in the beginning. Oh, Snake is just going to take photos of the Metal Gear and they're going to blow this thing wide open. And then you get there, Ocelot shows up and he takes out Gorlukovich. And then you find out Ocelot has the liquid arm and all that shit goes down and Snake gets framed for it. So even what you think the mission is going to be in the beginning was orchestrated. You know, they orchestrated Snake showing up there so they could frame him for that. So both the Tanker and Plant chapters both have those themes deeply embedded in them. I don't know, man. And this conversation we're having right now, it's like, how many games do you finish and you just immediately want to just talk about in this extensive detail, you know? It just sparks my brain and makes me think about, like, how many more things games could be used for. And a lot of people tell me that Death Stranding does that too by the end. So I really need to get back to Death Stranding and try to finish it, because I would love to, but I've avoided spoilers like the plague because I love Kojima's stuff, so. I refuse to just like look up the ending of Death Stranding on YouTube, because even if I did, I probably wouldn't fucking understand it. I've only gotten to like 40% through the game. But yeah, I love that conversation with Otacon toward the end where he's like, you've been talking to an AI, and Raiden's like, that's not possible. And then he says, well, it's not that you've just been talking to a robot. You've been talking to a version of the kernel that GW has been using your nanomachines to create for you using your own expectations. And that's kind of like an allegory for the game itself, you know? They used fan expectations to put this game together and then pulled the rug out from underneath you by tricking you into thinking that it was just going to be another cookie cutter sequel, you know? It's so deep and there's so many layers and there's so many things to fruitfully analyze, you know? It's very rare that you see something like that in any medium. So, but yeah, I think I've gushed enough, but I just, you know, I can't help it with such an amazing fucking game to feel that way after you finish it. Yeah, that was my biggest problem with Death Stranding, Dr. Red. It was just so much of like the delivery stuff just made me exhausted after a while. And I played that game for like 50 hours, by the way, so it's not like I didn't give it a fair shake. The gameplay just wasn't really catching me, unfortunately. The cutscenes and everything were amazing, but the gameplay just wasn't catching me. Well, anyways. Sorry for the long rants at the end of the stream, but you guys know how I feel about this game. It always gets me thinking on another level, so but yeah. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I always have a blast playing that game, and I will be playing it again very soon because I want to try to get either a Foxhound rank or a Big Boss rank on this eventually. But I'm obviously going to have to practice a lot more before I can make that happen. But yeah. Unfortunately, I don't really see anybody else that I can raid on right now, but like Hunter x Hunter, people are like, it's good, read it. Dog, I read 70 chapters. When does it get good? You know what I hate is when people say, oh, bro, you got to start watching this show. And I watch like 7-8 episodes. I'm like, it's not really catching me. They're like, oh, dude, it gets so good in season 3. Excuse me? I have to sit through fucking 2 seasons of a show before it gets good? Fuck that, dude. Why can't it just be good in season 1? What is that all about? Fuck that. You think I'm just going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to take my entire summer and get caught up in this show. Yes, me too, Dr. Red. And when I start watching a show that people say is really good, and I'm like, I watched fucking 15 episodes and I didn't really care for it. They're like, oh, but episode 16 is where the shit really starts going, dude. You stopped right before it gets like amazing. The One Piece argument, except One Piece is actually goated from chapter 1. Yeah, I've never been told that about One Piece. Dr. Red loves One Piece, so you're speaking his language, fudge me. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I'm going to take a few days off, just a few, because I have to get 3 podcast episodes uploaded, and I have to get all my stream VODs caught up, which there's like 22 of, so that's going to be some work. And I have 2 YouTube videos that I am fucking going to get released, I swear to God. So 2 edited YouTube videos, 3 podcast episodes, and 22 stream VODs have to be uploaded to YouTube. So it's a lot of work, but I'm going to get that shit done. And I will share the videos in the Discord when they're done. I appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. Thank you, Fudge Me, for sticking out for like the whole playthrough and joining the Discord, dude. That's fucking awesome. And you had me laughing like the whole fucking time at some of the meme-ass stuff in this game, so. With that being said, I'm going to disappear into a puff of Silent Hill fog in 3, 2, 1.